This is part 2 to the nutrition plan that I've already done a part 1 to. If you have not done that, go back, watch the part 1. You can see all the ins and outs, why I'm doing it, what I'm doing, and you can kind of connect the dots as you get into this Q&A of my part 2. As I will always say, I am not a registered nutritionist, a licensed dietitian. It's not my forte. I've worked in health and fitness for 20 years. I know some things. I don't know all things. And if you think that you need somebody who's got that elevated help, don't stop watching my video and go find them. But this is what I am going to do based on what I have learned. And one thing I will say this. Do not be a doubt chaser. Do not be one of those people, a doubt jumper. I kind of like to call them a doubt chaser, doubt jumper, whatever it may be. But don't be one of those people trying to find why things aren't working for you or saying that famous thing that every trainer, every strength coach, every nutritionist wants to say to your face. Don't be that person. It's like, I know my body best. Well, if you do, stop watching now. I'll save you the time and go do it. Okay? There. Moving on, let's talk why I made some of the decisions that I made with the nutrition plan going forward into phase 1, because I got a bunch of questions and I just wanted to clear up some of that in hopes that this will help you as you go forward. I have done several nutrition plans in the past. I have done keto, paleo, I have done balanced eating, portion fix, flexible diet, carnivore. I probably have done them all. I've been vegan for 2 years. I know you wouldn't believe that, but if I showed you those pictures, you'd be like, whoa, we couldn't get that right. And I came back into animal protein and I'm a happy person doing it. You're gonna have to figure out what you wanna be able to choose for you. I don't believe that you can burn fat and build muscle in a effectively and efficient way at the same time. You're gonna have to choose one or the other. I personally am choosing to put on muscle and strength. Therefore, I will be eating more than I normally do because I need to be able to feed the muscle to have energy and the ability to recover and grow. So I'm going to be in a surplus. If you want to be able to tap into your fat storage and burn some more fat, I would strongly suggest that you look into a caloric deficit from your maintenance. So if you don't know your maintenance, go back to my video 1 and you can figure out exactly what your maintenance is, and then you can make that decision from there. You're gonna get a maintenance calories based on your height, your weight, whatever it may be. You're gonna get what your maintenance calories are. Although there is a maintenance level that you're going to be able to figure out basically for you. That's not gonna calculate the intensity at which you do your workouts. We have not talked about how intensity will affect your caloric intake, your macros, your maintenance levels, and that's something that no calculator can figure out. Your intensity, the way that you show up to work out. That means, are you rested? Did you eat before? Your focus, the speed at which you do reps, slow or fast. How much tension do you put yourself under while you're working out? Is it a day that you're intense or is it not a day that you are intense? You're gonna wanna put that into consideration while figuring out your caloric intake based on whether you're fat burning or your muscle gaining. Keep that in mind. If you're one of those people that sits down and just goes, I'm gonna go through the motions, and just because I knocked it off my list, it means I did it, I can have the expectation to have some sort of body recomposition in the end. It's not gonna happen if you don't fuel yourself at the proper levels. You may have to take less because you were less intense. So take that in consideration, have a real honest conversation with yourself of where you are at. I didn't pick your typical balanced eating, good relationship with food nutrition plan. And I know that's odd to hear. Like, oh, he's going to say, don't have a good relationship for food. No, what I'm saying is I picked something that was challenging based on the goals that I had for a period of time. That's all. It's not as though I think it's unhealthy. It's not a plan that I'm going to maintain over time, nor do I want to maintain it over time. I want to pick it for very specific results. And I don't want to overstress or overwhelm myself during the process. So that's why I went a little more protein, not a high level of protein. The protein ratio that I will be taking is 40%, not 50, not 60, not high carnivore, but 40%. I also took a 40% carbohydrates because I wanted to be able to have energy going into my workouts, energy during my workouts, and I wanted to restore the energy that I used during my workouts. I will have 20% fat, which I think is a little low, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to progress that and subsidize that with omega-3s that I will take throughout the day. Dig Deeper is a physique program. which means you're going to be uncomfortable not only in your workouts, but in your nutrition. It's not going to be a sustainable lifestyle, either one of them. But as you pick the plan for you, just understand, if you pick a more flexible, a more healthy, balanced relationship with food, your results are going to take longer to get. This is more of a hyper-focused plan to get hyper-focused results, not to have a hyper great relationship with food or workouts. We're going to grind 12 weeks. What am I not going to eat during the next 12 weeks? The things that everyone's like, I still want them and I need them. I need a cheat day, a cheat meal, whatever it may be. I don't need a cheat meal. I don't need a cheat moment. And I don't need a cheat day. It's not the way that I'm geared. You might. I don't. I will be giving up alcohol. I'm good with it. Doesn't matter, but I know it affects performance. I will be giving up refined sugar and any additional sugars other than what I will get from my foods, such as fruit. So that isn't out too. I will also be giving up processed foods. None of that. Zip, zero, zilch. I'm out. The two biggest struggles that I'll probably have is giving up pizza and cookies. Both things spike insulin. Both are unneeded, and both actually hurt my performance. So I know that by cutting those things out immediately, I'll be fine. And then I look forward to is that I will be eating in a different way, which means I will have a much higher dense nutrition throughout the entire day. And I'm not gonna have these mood swings of wanting to have a cookie or pizza. I'm not really worried about it all that much, but there will be things that I will not be cutting back on, but actually cutting out. Now let's get into my eating schedule. How often will I eat? When will I eat? What will that entail? For me, I will be eating probably 6 times a day, somewhere between 5 and 6. I'm not sure exactly, but I'll have to look at my total calories, my grams, the things that I'm taking in a day so that I can figure out exactly how much. I'm not a 3 meals, 2 snacks kind of guy. I don't like eating large, dense meals. They make me tired, actually, and they make my gut feel awful. I'm not doing it. It's one of those things that I know. I will be eating 6 times a day, around that small portion, so that I can be able to get in all the calories that I have throughout the day. When and what will I be eating? I will be eating my first meal before I work out, and that will probably consist of something along the lines of 30 carbohydrates and maybe 15 to 20 grams of protein. Oatmeal, eggs, and maybe a slice of cheese, something that's in there, so that when I do go to the gym, I'll have enough energy to perform the exercises at the intensity that I need to get the results. I will get up around 6 a.m. every morning. I have my first meal around 8 or 9. I will have a cup of black coffee and put in some coconut oil and maybe a little creamer. Not sure yet, but that's going to be the first thing I do upon rising, which I'll get into my pre-workout meal, which will be about 30 grams of carbohydrates, 20 grams of protein, and 4 grams of fat, something very low. I will be very steady state with this because it's something I've done well with in the past, and that is my oatmeal pancake. A tablespoon of olive oil, a quarter cup of oatmeal, and 2 eggs. I mix those things together, and then depending if I want to add more fat, I will add a slice of cheese, or if I want to get some sort of fruit in there, I will add an additional carbohydrate. But I will eat that prior to going to the gym, and I will have pre-workout with me as I go into the gym. I'm going to talk about supplements later. Then I will get post-workout, which I will get into a protein shake so I can get a high level of protein there, and I will also have more carbohydrates afterward. From there, I don't know what the timing will be, but I have to look at that and say that's 1-2 meals. I've got 4 meals left throughout the day, and I will subsidize the rest of my calories and macronutrients throughout the day in that way. I will have a substantial dinner for sure, and I will probably cut off all eating 2 hours before I go to bed. Let me get into nutrient timing. Should I eat before my workouts? You know what? That's going to be up to you. And what I mean by that is this. Number one, you're not going into a competition. So do I think you need to split hairs and figure out how to get up and eat before your workout? No. Do I think you should have a meltdown if you weren't able to work out? No. I think you're going to be absolutely fine. I also think that I have to be understanding to all of you that have to get up in the morning with an early job, or that you've got kids to get ready for school and you just are limited on time and you'd rather sleep than eat before you get into a workout. I would rather have you concentrate on your recovery of sleep than have to eat and then work out. That time doesn't really make a difference. You'll be able to maximize your workout efforts by just not eating. Best thing to do if you're worried about eating before your workouts, have a great nutrition plan that is in place for the day prior. If you got to get up at 4 a.m., if you're eating great the day before, you're probably going to be fine. If you can do 90% of what you normally would be able to do 100, you're going to get good results. So it takes you another couple weeks to get to where you want to go. But you're healthier, you're happy, and you're good. So I wouldn't split the hairs. Should you do a high protein, high carbohydrates, high fat? I don't know. That's the fair answer. I really don't know what you should do. I think that if you really want muscle growth, you've got to have a substantial amount of protein. Do I think that if you're low on energy, you're probably going to have some carbohydrates in to subsidize that? And do I think fat's important? Yes. Do I think that we're all different and we have to go on this road of figuring out what's best for us? 100%. But to bring it back around and not be that guy, look, just eat protein, man. You're going to have a substantial amount of protein to be able to create muscle synthesis, to grow the muscle, to repair the muscle, and an ample amount of carbs so that you can replenish the glycogen levels and have enough energy to work out the next day. It's that simple. I talked about my protein. I'm at 40% with my calories. I want to see if that's going to work for me in the beginning. If I've got to cut it back a little bit and increase the carbs or increase the fat, I'm cool with that. But this is where I want to be able to start. And I think that most of you, as you go into a nutrition plan up front, is that it's going to be work. First part is going to be work. Because remember, you're in a phase, right? You've got 3 phases in Dig Deeper, which means you have 3 phases for 4 weeks apiece to be able to track how your ratios are, your macronutrient ratios, 40, 30, 30, 40, 40, 20, your calories, depending on if you're counting calories or not, and then your macronutrients, your grams. So if you're going to count macros, you have 4 weeks that you can collect data to see how you feel, what your results that you're getting, if you're happy, if you're comfortable. You'll be able to collect that data on everything so that you can make an adjustment in the next 4 weeks. I would not be a doubt jumper or a doubt chaser. Don't be like, no, week 1 didn't work for me. You have week 1 to figure out that ratio, which is going to be a little bit of a headache, right? We're in challenge mode. So week 1, we're going to be like, I figured it out. I know how much chicken I can have, how much beef I can have, what my rice ratios are, what my potato ratios are. You'll be able to figure that out in week 1. It's going to be challenging. Week 2, you're already going to know it. So you're going to hit stride. Week 3, you're going to be applying it. Week 4, you're going to be in stride. And that's going to be for each phase. So just think of it as I need to make an adjustment in 3 different weeks, but in the other 9 weeks, I get to live in momentum. What will I be eating? I don't know yet. I think that that's fair. For me to sit here and say, this is my exact meal plan, this is what I'm eating, this is how much I'm eating, I don't know. What I do know is that I will be eating lean meats, that I did get a lot of wild game from one of my really good friends, Steve. Shout out Steve Innes, you're the man, bro. I got that from them, so I will be able to introduce that, and I will be eating mainly that as my protein sources throughout the entire 12 weeks. I am going to have to flex the plan at times. I'm going to have to make moves on the go. I'm going to change what I want to eat. I'm going to have all kinds of things that come up. And the best that I can tell you is to go to my Instagram, get in my subscription, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to let people that are in my subscription look at what I ate for that day. And you'll be able to see exactly what it is and what it came out to be. Whether I hit my caloric goals or I fell short or went over. I'm guessing I won't go over unless I'm eating some sort of higher fat. But in general, I will be dialed in. You'll see some repeats, but you'll be able to look and see exactly what I'm eating over the course of 12 weeks. You'll be able to see the day before, and you'll actually be able to see real time right then and there what I'm up to in that day. Will I be eating the same things over and over? I've done that in the past, and I've talked to some nutritionists and dietitians. There's 2 sides to it, right? There's some simplicity to be able to just eat the same thing over and over and not have to think about it and not get stressed or overwhelmed. So you've got mental health. Eat the same thing, don't think. But then you also have this ideology of Different sources of food are going to give you different levels and sources of micronutrients, right? So you're going to be able to get vitamins and minerals and different things that you could get by not eating the same foods over and over. You'll be able to get those from a variety and a diversity of foods that you'll be able to take in. I don't think that I'm going to be completely the same thing over and over and over, but I will have some repeats and I will have some standards that I'll go to, and then I'll have this ability to be flexible in between. And I believe that that's what you should do too, unless you really just need to not think about food at all. But I will only say that if it doesn't stress you out and create bad food patterns for you. I don't want you in a world of like, how many macros, how many calories, what's good. We're not in competition. We're not going to win a medal. We're not trying to win a sword or do whatever bodybuilders do. You're great. I love bodybuilders. They're very inspiring people, and I am friends with some of them. Man, I wish I had some of their discipline and consistency. But that's not my life, that's theirs. So I applaud them the same that I would think that they would applaud me. I also got a question of hormones. Am I concerned about eating in a certain way of reducing fat or putting on muscle? Am I concerned about hormone regulation and, the possibility of screwing up any of my hormones? I'm always concerned of that. If I do anything over a long period of time, it's definitely something that is in the back of my head because I want to live an optimized, high performance life. I don't want to put monster amounts of stress in a certain area that could affect that, because I know this for a fact. It doesn't take much to screw up your hormones, but it takes a lot to reset them and get them back to balance. Am I concerned about that with a nutrition plan and getting more strict and more hyper? A little bit. It's on my radar and I am aware of it. I have not decided to get blood work before I go on this nutrition plan, but I will definitely get it afterward and I will check and see where I'm at. I know where my numbers are. I get blood work done 3 times a year already. I'm at a good place pretty much going into this, but it is on my radar, and in general, I believe it should be on yours too. I'm also getting asked, well, what plan should I go on? I think that if you're in that point, I've already said it earlier, higher protein, a good amount of carbohydrates, and some good fat. If you've not gotten negative results with a higher protein diet, I think now's the time to do it. But understand, you're not going to sustain this type of nutrition plan forever. Will you maintain your results, and will the juice be worth the squeeze? That is obviously one that you're going to have to ask yourself. I'm a full-on lover of keto. I'm a full-on lover of intermittent fasting. That's going to be my biggest hurdle, because those of you that follow me already know I like intermittent fasting, and I'm probably not going to intermittent fast. No, I actually know. I'm stopping intermittent fasting to do this program the way that I want to do it with nutrient timing. I will not be intermittent fasting, but sort of kind of intermittent fasting. I won't be eating after a certain time, but I will need to eat before I go to the gym. It's not a weight loss program. It's a body composition program, which means you're either going to put on muscle or you're going to lose fat. You obviously could lose weight by choosing to have a caloric deficit and to be moving in general, but the program itself is not geared at losing weight. And if that is your real true goal, then hit me up. I'd love to talk to you about it. I'd love to get you into a better plan, maybe get you into something that is focused on you moving more on your nutrition, and that way you can eventually build up and reward yourself with a body composition program rather than put yourself through this type of strict programming and not get what you ultimately wanted out of it. But if you're one of those people that wants to do the program that everybody else is doing, and that's what gets you to show up, to move, to eat healthier, and to do better consistently with your health and wellness, I'm all for this for you. Continue, go for it. Just understand the expectations that you are not going to get into a good weight loss program, but you're going to have fun doing it and you're going to create some momentum. So kudos, I'm all for it. But obviously, I want to be able to help you in the best way that I can and have a heart-to-heart with you and put you in a program that might fit your expectations a little bit better. But if not, like I said, go have fun with Dig Deeper. And double back around and talk to you guys about counting calories, choosing macros, or choosing percentages. It's all going to be up to you. What's your path of least resistance? What's your tolerance? What's good for you? If you want to count macros, count them. If you want to count calories, count them. If you want to just understand your 40-30-30, then that's what you're going to be able to do. But make sure that you know what you're doing. And as you read a food label, I would say stay away from the high sodiums. High sodiums are going to get you to have a lot more water in your system. And you know what? You can just do better. Let me just say that. If you're doing that, you could do better. And if that's what you're choosing because that is better for you, then obviously this is not the program for you. I'll just keep saying that. You're doing great things by stepping up, but this isn't the program for you. This is an advanced program based on muscle growth, strength, and fat loss. If you really want to know what I'm doing, follow my Instagram so that you can get access to exactly what I'm eating on a daily basis and watch my transformation happen. I'll be doing a weekly video so you guys will be able to see that. I will recap my nutrition and I will recap the workouts as well. I'll leave you guys with this. We've talked about workouts, we've talked about nutrition, and they play a symbiotic relationship with each other. You've got to find the right one that fits for you, but you can't be a jumper. You can't be a doubter. So look for the success in everything that you're doing. The one thing that we really haven't talked about is recovery. And I know this doesn't really play too much into food, but there's a lot of foods out there that are anti-inflammatory that you can take that will help you. So if you need to get into that world of why do I need more carbohydrates or what type of carbohydrates do I need so that I don't become inflamed, that's something that you're going to want to dive into. The other piece that you're going to want to dive into is sleep. No matter how much food you eat, no matter how many workouts you do or don't do, or the intensity of your workouts that you do or don't do, you're gonna need that sleep to recover so that you can optimize and maximize your efforts during this 12-week program. So that would be one of the biggest pushes that I would tell you is to be able to get your sleep and to concentrate on your recovery. So please do that. Please understand that nutrition is a flexible situation no matter what you're on. Sometimes you need 200 more calories, sometimes you need 200 less. Some days that you're gonna go through are gonna be a little bit more difficult than the other. I know nutrition is a lot to take in and it's what everybody really ultimately wants, right? A chef and someone to walk around and knock stuff out of your hand or put something in your hand to eat. It's the biggest hurdle we have in being healthy. It's not moving because we can make time. And if we only had to move for 50 minutes a day, you know what? It'd be pretty easy. But we have to eat. And when we eat for 8 hours to 16 hours a day. And that's a difficult hurdle. Give yourself some grace, dial in, do what you can, but don't back yourself out and leave yourself a trap door and say, well, I just didn't feel it this today. If you didn't feel it, that's your trap door. And if you're not showing up and doing what's required, you're doing your best. And your best is not measurable. And that's what you're going to be able to base all of your data and your results against, is the fact that you showed up and did what was required. Once that happens, you'll be able to move through your health in a much more efficient and effective way. Because ultimately, that's what we're talking about, right? Is living a certain life, being healthy, continuously in motion. Our weight will go up, it will go down. Our strength will go up and down, and so will our body fat. And that's okay. But we need to keep it in a place that we can manage it. And that's where we want to get to right now. So if you're in it with me, we dig deeper. Let me know down below in the comments. Let me know what you're doing, how things are going for you. Share your nutrition, share your information. I'm always open to learn. I'm always open to be told that I'm doing things wrong because I know there will be people out there that says, Mike, your ideology is wrong. I'm okay with that. I'm okay to learn. As long as if you write that, you're okay to learn as well. And I can have some sort of open dialogue with you about the way that you feel or the knowledge that you have. So let me know, fill me up with your information. Let me know what's working for you so everybody else can learn from you as well. Knowledge is only good if you share it, right? Like, comment, subscribe, do me that favor. Let me know what I could do better. Let me know what you want to see in the weekly videos to come so that I can supply you with the information, ultimately help you live well.